Alright, so can you say your name and your age?
I'm Cameron Michaels and I'm 18 years old.
From Mississauga, Ontario, and I'm 22 years old.
Okay, so where are you from? Toronto, Canada.
So where are you from?
I'm from Richmond Hill.
Are you currently in university or have you?
Yeah, I attend Laurier,
In what program?
BBA.
Are you currently in university?
Yeah, I'm first year of university at Wilfrid Laurier.
I use it once in a while. I would say I used to use it more in the past, before I came to Laurier, but I still use it a decent amount here.
In Waterloo, I never use it. In Toronto, when I used to live there a year ago, I used it every day.
Probably about once a month, but again, in high school I used to play more sports with them, with friends and stuff, so a lot more, probably around twice a week.
Yes, because most people go to parks to relax, so they want to sit down.
Yes, of course I'm irritated. After a long day of like school or work, my feet tend to get tired from all the walking that I do, so it would be very nice to sit down.
I mean, it's a lot about just the process itself of having to get to the bus stop, right? As well as some bus stops not actually having a bus shelter area, so sometimes I'd have to stand outside. I mean, I can't really think of anything specific, but I think it'd definitely be very helpful.
I think there should be a way to dry the bench, and I think it should be easy to use by everyone.
I think it used to not really be important, but now, like seeing the amount of pollution that is created, I think it's definitely a big part of our society and should be integrated more.
For example, if I have to pay a lot extra for them, if they're not a public good, then I wouldn't want to do it. But if it's beneficial and it's not that much of a price difference, then I would be inclined to pay for it.
You want it to be like good quality, like you don't want to be on a bench that'll like break when you sit on it. So, I guess quality.
The quality for sure, because the quality to me is more important than eco-friendly, because I'd rather a non-ready bench than saving the environment, to be honest.
When you stop to get people during wet weather, so like rain or snow, are they using the benches or still standing?
They're standing mostly.
Okay. Does the university have policies on what can be purchased and what cannot?
And there's regulations around that, and it basically comes down to price. That would be the biggest thing.
And are students' demands considered? Can they influence your purchasing decision?
Definitely students, like, it is a big part of it, and we do take into consideration some of the ideas.
And do you consider the weather when purchasing items and deciding what to put on campus?
Weather is always a big thing, especially in Canada, so we do take that into consideration.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Hughes. I work at the Restore, which is part of Habitat for Humanity. The money that we raise here goes back to our affiliate for Habitat for Humanity, which is the GTA affiliate. And we use the proceeds to continue to build affordable housing for people in the Greater Toronto area.
So in terms of product servicing the
like a sideboard from Happy Brew. They buy a fair amount of that kind of stuff or recipes from us. They take it home, strip it down, refinish it, repaint it, and they have their own little business.
Here's our value proposition canvas for the customer segment of municipal governments and school boards. This customer segment was altered because through our interviews we found that people use public transportation and parks a lot more frequently in high school rather than our initial prediction of university campuses. The main jobs of this segment includes providing seating for the public to rest or for commuters to wait. They must also use their budget effectively, as was confirmed in an interview. If they can't afford it, school boards and campuses will not be able to upgrade their infrastructure as they are on a tight budget. Currently, providing public seating allows these buyers to please the public and students, and also gives them more advertising capabilities. Their current benches are also affordable for them. However, it's a hassle for them to repair and install the benches. The interviews show that they also have difficulty finding enough funds. Since our company purchases materials from Habitat for Humanity's Restore program at a highly discounted rate, it becomes much cheaper. Repairs and installation is taken care of by us, and through waterproofing sealers and stainless steel, the benches have a long lifespan. Our bench also promotes eco-friendliness and is innovative in dealing with the user's current frustration.
Before our interviews, we structured our canvas as such. Beginning with customer jobs, we said that our functional job was to sit down in public space. Our social job was to take a break. Our emotional job was to be able to sit and socialize. The pains with current benches were the benches were inaccessible during poor weather, not enough space, and not comfortable. The gains which we found were the ability to meet new people, spending time outdoors, and just being able to relax. Moving on to the value proposition, we found that the game creators were that our product was eco-friendly and was supported by a good cause. Pain relievers were that it was accessible after wet weather and large. After our interviews, insights which we gained allowed us to add our canvas. We saw that the additional gains were that benches are always there. Pains we found were that there were no bench. And pain relievers we added were that it increases feelings of comfort.